Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is the It Depends, I Guess podcast. I am Jackie.
And I'm Caroline.
Yes, and we have in the decks.
DJ.
Oh, Lord. Say it normally.
DJ.
Okay, fine. Thanks for coming back. Hopefully, you've come back. And if it's your first episode, catching up, go look at our other ones. It's only 2. But yeah, this is episode number 3.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yes. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It is the month of love.
It is.
Yes. I'm feeling
trying
all
not to
love
roll my
around
eyes,
us.
but I'm trying.
Can I just say that culturally in Switzerland, Valentine's is not celebrated a lot, as it is the month of love. I haven't seen any shop decorated in red or, it is not a big commercial event in Switzerland. You could almost forget that it's Valentine's.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Because I don't think I've even seen ads, like YouTube ads or
Yes.
whatever around Valentine's.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah. It's
All-
much less commercial here.
Yes, all my content, Valentine's content, is actually from what I see in Kenya.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I'm loving it. Yes.
I haven't noticed that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And how was your week?
I mean, to be fair, nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
It's been good so far.
Yeah.
Still sound like this,
Yeah.
nasally.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't complain. It's
Spring is coming.
Spring is coming, hopefully. Oh, fingers crossed.
You don't get full-blown allergies.
I really don't think it's allergy stuff because I've never been allergic to anything.
Yeah.
Well, now lactose is my problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I've never been allergic to anything. So
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe it's just my immune system is just
Yeah.
in the gutter right now.
We will see.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Yeah. All right. So anything interesting on the internet streets that you've seen?
So mentioning about love and the month of love, I did come across this on an Instagram page called Being Black is Lit. And this just had me in laughter, where this person is like, hey, is this James' girlfriend? And the girl is like, oh, if you're coming to me as a woman about my man, please sort this out later. Valentine's Day is too close.
She has her priorities
She has
in
her
order.
priorities in check.
If things are going to fall apart, not before Valentine's.
Then she says, you can see him on the 15th. The 14th is reserved for me. And then the person says, babe, he booked you for a free hair and makeup bundle.
Oh.
I don't want your man, girl.
Yeah,
But I like
she
how
has her
her
priorities.
priorities
She's
in
like,
check.
no. I have been waiting for this day. Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
that's
she ends it
hilarious.
with, oh my God, for real? This is awkward. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you to my man. Thank you to my man. I thought that was hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, on my end, let me see. Oh, okay. So it was, and I need to find the original video. It was someone on Instagram, probably Instagram. Anyway, this girl's talking about how he had gone swimming.
Yes.
Then when he was leaving, this elderly lady stopped him and asked him, like, and told him, like, oh, you're such a good swimmer. And he's like, oh, thanks. And then she's like, oh, for someone your size, like, that he's a big person.
Yes.
And then so now in the video, the guy is like, oh, yeah, he took it as an opportunity to, educate her on. And in my head at that point, I was just, wow, this is some Western stuff.
Yes.
'Cause I think where we've grown up, people of a certain age and above,
Yes.
you just let them be.
Yes.
So I was just like, so then I go into the comments.
Yeah.
Clearly the Africans had swam in before me. They're like, yeah, for us, you just let the elderly be.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And it made me think of my mom in that. And I keep saying, I'm looking forward to being hopefully of good health,
Yes.
but above 70.
Yes.
Because I think in Kenya, and that's one thing I love about our culture, people of a certain age get a certain level of respect.
Yeah.
But my mom says the wildest things
Yes.
and gets away with it.
You can't correct her.
You cannot. And and she always said wild things, but it was more maybe after the fact. So we go somewhere and somebody's trying to tell her, oh, madam, buy this thing, or this thing does whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. She looks skeptical. Then later in the car, she'll say, that guy is just a thief or whatever.
Yeah.
These days, that time period and brain filter gone. So somebody could be with her, like trying to pitch her on something,
Yes.
and they went with her to the market and telling, oh, madam, unajua the hii inafanya hii or whatever it is. And she looks at him and she says, wewe ni mwizi. I'm just like, what? And the guy is apologizing. He's like, no,
Yeah.
until you know,
Yeah.
no, don't be like that.
Yes.
Don't be
Yes,
like that.
yes.
It's wild, the things she says.
Yeah.
And these days when I'm with her somewhere, I've noticed I basically go behind, like, she says the wildest things,
Yeah.
and then I'm always apologizing to people. I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yes, yes,
sorry,
yes.
sorry. But that is just, it's just a thing with age.
Yes,
But
yes.
it really amused me to just go in the comments and find the Africans got there before me, and I'm like, yes, we're on the same page. People above a certain age, just
Yes. Just let them be.
they'll say inappropriate things.
Yes.
That's okay. We just let them be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more older we get, the more we have no filter. I feel
No
like.
filter,
Yes,
clearly.
yes.
And I like that the society has
accepted it.
It's just, that's just, unajua, ni a certain age.
Yes,
It's just,
yes,
I
yes.
get it.
But
I
even
get it.
remember, like I remember grandparents, like they would say the most random and things you could imagine, even sometimes even talking to themselves.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, okay.
You
okay.
just, these days it's just in public. At home, you're so used to it.
Yes.
But now when you're at events, you're just there thinking, I wonder what they're going to say. Just, you're
on edge.
You're on edge. But now I'm more relaxed.
Yeah.
Society is very forgiving.
Yeah.
But DJ, anything
That caught your...
interest on the interweb streets?
This week, no, nothing really. After my last episode's rant about the whole Drake situation, I think I'll keep thinking until something. For those who didn't see it, check out last episode. We had interesting discovery about Drake. We'll leave it there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. This week's episode, the theme is, we're calling it Heartbreak, Lovers and Friends Edition.
Yes.
Yes. Given that, Super Bowl has just passed, Asha, Lovers and Friends. Here's a festival called Lovers and Friends. Anyway,
Yeah.
if you get it, you get it. But yes, we want to talk about heartbreak. And the reason I say lovers and friends is we commonly hear people talk about heartbreak, the lovers edition.
Yes.
Heartbreak from, you were dating someone.
Yes.
It goes badly.
Yes.
Character development.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
A lot of people talk about that. We'll touch on that for sure. But I think one thing I've not commonly heard people talk about is the heartbreak that comes from
Friendships, yeah.
friendship breakups or disappointments,
Yes.
etc.
Yeah.
So for one, let's start with just generally.
Yes.
How do you think your heartbreak experience has been when you were younger versus now? Yes.
The heartbreaks experienced, especially. Okay, let me go a step further and back into the teenage years. Because that's where most of our idea of love and crushes kind of form.
Yes, yes. Your first, yes.
Yes. So I feel my teenage years were more of, I was trying to reflect in the real world what I was seeing on TV. So a person who looked a certain way, and then I would try and look for that person in real world. So we were watching a lot of American music, American TV shows. So anybody who reflected that in the real world was cute to me. So I'd have like teenage crushes on this person. And my first heartbreak that I can think about is me actually approaching a boy, and the boy...
You did the approaching.
I
All
did
right.
the approaching.
I like this.
I wrote a letter to them. I expressed I liked them.
Undying love.
Undying love, yes. I liked them, and and that was the first part of what I felt heartbreak was, which was rejection,
Oh.
Yes.
So did he respond?
No.
Or just
I was
ignored?
ghosted. And this was a neighborhood kid. Like,
Wait,
we
to
grew
be
up
fair,
together.
hold on. Were you guys talking before?
Yes, we were a group of kids who grew up together. So he was a friend with my brother, and we were a small circle of friends, but we played together. We met almost every day, you know, growing up in the 90s. So, yes, so when I became a teenager, I decided that I have a crush on this boy who looked so much like a musician on TV, and I wrote a letter to him.
So then now when you got the letter,
Yes.
so now he even just completely avoided you.
Yes.
Forget even
yes.
where you.
And I avoided him more because,
Oh, yeah,
and then
because-
everybody knew I wrote a letter to him.
Oh, he told them.
Yes. He told them I wrote a letter. And another girl, I actually wrote that letter because another friend of mine had also expressed she was going to write
A letter to
a
him.
letter to him.
Also, he said, let me
yes,
get there first.
yes, let me get there first.
Okay.
So when I look at my initial heartbreaks, I would call them more of rejection, and that's kind of a theme that goes into, you know, early 20s, and comparing that to what I've seen heartbreaks change is when now it's not more about rejection, it's more of losing what you had hoped for. So your idea of future is no longer there.
Yeah.
Like you had looked at this person is going to be your forever person, so your future just breaks.
Oh, yeah. Mourning the potential.
Yes, the potential, actually.
Yeah.
You're losing the potential more than anything.
And is it more, okay. Are your heartbreaks when you're older, do you see a progression in that they're as intense or they're still intense but they last shorter, the pain is a shorter period, or you're just numb?
Ooh, I would say in the last 5 years, they've become more numb than anything. Because I've instilled practicality. Because like if you see it's not working, you're the one to step out. But you're looking at it practically. You're like, okay, this thing does not work because of this and that.
Yeah.
So it's more of what from the head more than it is from the heart. You know?
The head is more more participatory. It's there more.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? How do you feel they've progressed?
I definitely relate on teenagehood. My heartbreaks were, the person was not even aware.
Yes.
At least you approach someone. They were not even aware.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you like someone, you see them in your circles, and you have a whole relationship in your head.
Yeah.
You always romanticize. If they say hello to you, it's like, hey, yes, they agree with me. This is going to be my future husband.
Yes.
And then you find out they start dating somebody in the group. And then you start going, now I went through a heartbreak. Even if the person was not aware, nobody was aware. It was just me. So maybe I was delusional as a teenager, but my heartbreak was similar. It was crashes.
Yes.
And then them not. Also, again, it's similar in that based on what we'd see on TV, the assumption is they will know. You know, if you catch eyes and hold a stare for 5 minutes, they should know.
Yes.
So in my mind, I was again following what we've seen in like movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
So so my heartbreak was much more that.
Yes.
Now in my 20s, now that's where
the heartbreaks.
Hey, that is
Well,
where
more
it's.
felt.
Those are the ones where it's like your whole life is coming down.
Yes.
So I think they were super intense. Although I think in my 20s versus my 30s, in my early 30s, were they more actually, no. I think they're more intense in my 20s. And I think there's also, I appreciate my living in it in my 20s, where you go through a heartbreak and you just go through.
You go through the waves,
the ups and the downs, and the grief and the acceptance, and you're like, no, trying to fight for something, and like that whole roller coaster.
Yeah.
Now, in my 30s, what I found is I found tactics that would kind of numb the process, right? So you can just hasten or skip some parts.
Yes.
And then I think in my later 30s, I kind of went back to my 20-year-old self where I'd go through it.
Yeah.
But then now with certain tools that I know would be
Yeah.
beneficial.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if I feel like crying, yes, cry.
Yeah.
But I also know going for a walk makes me feel better.
Yes, yes.
You know, so it was just trying to bring in more healthy things. Because also in my early 30s,
Yes.
I had some very toxic
Yeah.
dealing
Yes.
ways of dealing with
Yes. Yes. Yes.
heartbreaks.
Yeah. So you is it therapy that helped you come up or find the tools that worked better for you, or how did you come to this realization?
Well, so I want to say therapy, yes, but then also it's because, so let's say you go through heartbreaks, you go through a heartbreak, and then you find some ways of dealing. Either it's, you know, you're like, you know, the whole to get over someone, you get under someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was an ethos I lived by. So you kind of go through that and you're partying and you're drinking and you're nothing wrong with that in moderation. But the reason is that you know you don't want to feel.
Yes, yes.
Then before you actually heal, you jump into something else.
Yes, yes.
Right? Then that other thing goes haywire. Then you jump into another thing. So then what happened is with back to back, it piles up, and then there's now a heartbreak that happens that, you know, the best way to describe it is like somebody broke you open.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that's the one that sent me to therapy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then now there is when I learned better tools
Coping
to
skills,
use.
yeah.
Yeah. So then now in my later 30s, I started now implementing some of those tools to just, you know, just, yes, go through it, but it's okay to feel.
Yes.
There's
yes.
nothing wrong with
Yes,
feeling.
Yes, yes.
And even if it feels you're happy 1 second, the next second you're bawling, like I
Yes.
just, you know, just
Yes.
roll with it, roll
Yeah.
with the punches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I don't know if the intensity has changed.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes. Because I think in the early 30s, I would have, if you asked me then, I would have said, yeah, now I don't feel a thing.
Yeah.
But that's because I had these things that
Yeah.
would just cover it.
Yeah. You had a rebound way of making
Yes.
sure that you're not feeling
I knew
anything.
there's a formula where
Yes,
if I
yes.
go down that route,
Yeah.
I know I will
Yeah.
I will come out unscathed in
Yes,
quotes, but
yes.
then down the line it has
Yeah.
like repercussions.
Yeah.
Yeah, DJ, let me ask you, do you have, especially as a dude, I'm curious how you people feel
yes.
about heartbreaks.
You know, yeah, I guess there was some I don't know if it was heartbreak because I think I was too young to, you know, digest what was going on and too juvenile mentally. You know, I hadn't fully matured as a man. You know, so I don't know. I think you know, you just pack your life up with things and things to do and make yourself busy and
Yeah.
you just get over it and think that I don't know if I'd call it heartbreak.
But that situation you're thinking of, why did you recall that as a heartbreak? Is it like, did you
It was
feel,
just uncomfortable.
wow.
It was very uncomfortable.
Comfortable, yeah. I've had like most men, like when they go through that kind of a heartbreak, like mostly they go to the gym to work it out. Like
Yeah.
you need
Yeah.
something
Or
physical.
buy something expensive.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I do that a lot.
Something physical is what actually
So yeah,
feels
just
Yeah.
to
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I do think the theory about women doing something drastic, I think that theory holds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up short head because of a breakup.
Oh, is it? Now she's exposing it. I've been wondering why. We wondered why, but
Yeah, after a breakup.
Yeah.
Like I always had some sort of odd haircut, but I knew that one day I'm just going to go full shot everything.
yeah.
But then there's a specific breakup that I was just like, shave it.
Actually, now that we are here, like, what's the most drastic thing you've done after a heartbreak that sort of changed your life direction in a certain way? Because I'm thinking of something.
Changed
already.
my
Yeah.
life direction.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. So, well, I moved countries.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I was working in Kenya.
Yeah.
And then I was on assignment in
Yeah.
India. So
Yes.
assignment meant I was still getting paid in Kenya, but
Yes.
It was like a temporary assignment.
Yes.
So while I was, and this was in India.
Yeah.
So while I was there was an opportunity to move somewhere else instead of coming back to Kenya as my home base.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to because there was this relationship
Yes.
that, like, oh, you should focus. It's your, and society tells
Yes.
you it is time.
It is
This
time.
is
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
So I thought, maybe this is time. Let me stop chasing these things. Let me just. And I remember the VP at the time who kept telling me, like, oh, if that thing is meant to be, it will survive whatever you move to,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
let that work around you versus you moving your whole life around this relationship. But I thought, no, let me just, this is what I've seen women do.
Yes,
you
yes,
just pack
yes.
up and you stay.
Yeah.
So I told him, no, it's fine. I said, thanks for the opportunity, but I'm just going to go back to Kenya.
Yeah.
But he was really, to be fair, that VP, I still think of him as one of the best
Yeah.
leaders I've ever seen and mentors. He said, if anything changes, let me know.
Okay.
I'll
Kept the door open.
Yeah, I kept the door open.
Yes.
So I was like, yeah, I'm going to Kenya. I'm staying, I'm going to make this thing work.
Yeah.
And then that thing fell apart. Literally the day I moved back, let me tell you, the day I landed, it fell apart.
Yes.
And initially I thought I can find a way to make it work. I don't my mind, I thought it's not over
Yes,
for real.
yes.
But then when it was over for real, like a few weeks later, I found out the real reason this person was sleeping with every skirt that walked by.
Yeah.
So when I found that out,
Yes.
that crushed me.
Yes, yes.
But my immediate reaction, I remember that that VP.
VP, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's fair. Let me tell the full story.
Yeah.
What happened is I find out exactly why the whole thing fell apart. I was crushed. So then I was, how you put yourself together, like, it's fine. This is personal life shit.
Yes.
We're going to work.
Yeah.
We're going to work. I was in a meeting, a video conference meeting with, I think it was someone who was not there. Either someone.
Yeah.
And in the middle of just the normal conversation, just, blah, 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 I just started bawling. I was wailing. Like someone has died kind of wailing. Yes.
In the middle of
a conversation with like a senior director, I just started wailing.
Yes, yes.
And they're like, what's happening? I couldn't even speak.
Yes.
So he just said, he's like, it's okay, we'll follow up later. So, I even left. I had to go to the bathroom. I was distraught.
Yes.
Then I think, I don't know if he let the VP know or someone know, like, I think she's not doing great. Because I'm not the kind of person who people, now I think I try to cry more now.
Yeah.
But back then, that was not, people, it just was surprising to everyone. So I think he let the VP know. So the VP hit me up.
Yeah.
He's like, are you okay? What's happening? Blah, blah. And I just was not able to express what I was going through.
Yeah.
But then I decided to take time off. Like I took like a month off. I disappeared off grid. But then before I left, I remembered he had given me the option. So he had let me know, remember that offer I had given you?
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yes.
So he said, go, take time off.
Yes, yes.
When you come back, let me know if you want to. I told him, whatever you want me to move to, I'm moving.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I ended up moving to Nigeria.
To Nigeria.
I just said,
how long did you stay in
fuck
Nigeria
this shit.
for?
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Fuck it.
It was enough time to heal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I disappeared off grid, came back, moved to Nigeria. Let me tell you, that Lagos saw me. Let me tell you, I lived a good life.
We need to hear the life in Lagos at some point.
But it was that breakup still.
But this is sort of now the opportunity that you took that led you to Nigeria, opened up opportunities to other countries.
Yes,
like
true.
Yeah. It is a rolling effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was probably the most drastic. If that breakup, I don't know if I would have just left the country the way I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like just last minute I just up and left. Yeah.
Oh, that's So heartbreaks sometimes they're there for a reason, actually.
To be fair, that's one of those I
Yes.
look back and I'm so grateful for that, as much as I wish there was a gentler way
Yes.
to have
Yes.
sent me down the path of, like, experiencing living outside for real.
Yes.
I'm still grateful for that experience,
Yeah.
because I don't think, if it wasn't that drastic, I
Yes.
don't think I would have
Yes.
moved or prioritized myself.
Yes. Yes.
Because I think also a big thing is I never used to prioritize myself that
yes,
much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You are willing to stay around
Yes.
for this thing to work. It's
Yes.
not really what the opportunity was
Yes.
best for
Even
you.
if I
Yes.
100% didn't think it was a good idea for me to
Yes.
try and make this thing work.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Heartbreaks.
Yeah. What was the most drastic thing you've done?
It wasn't so drastic per se, but I remember after heartbreak, I actually went back to school. Something in me just clicked, and I was like, yeah, I need to get my shit together.
Yeah.
And that's what led me to my career path down
Yeah.
the line and the opportunities that I've had. So
Yeah.
going back to school was something I did drastically.
Because of a break.
of a breakup, yeah.
Bless all the exes out there.
It's yes. They've elevated us.
I know you're better people after. I'm kidding.
Can we move to, so those are lovers' heartbreaks,
Yes.
yeah?
Now,
Friend heartbreaks.
friend breakups and
Yes.
and it's not even necessarily breakups.
Yes.
Friend heartbreaks.
Yes.
Now, this is something that, honestly, if I were to, you know how they say, what would you tell your younger self?
Yes.
This is something I wish somebody would have told me about.
Yes.
And I would tell anyone who's younger is to, I think maybe it's culturally or maybe where we are from, there's so much emphasis on your growth as a woman is also tied to how you deal with romantic relationships.
Yes.
You know, how to be a good girlfriend, how to be a good blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But all very tied to romantic situation. But I think there's such a huge disservice in me not knowing
Yes.
that, hey, the older you become, friendships are going to be such a key
Yes.
part of your life.
Yes.
And I wish I would have learned younger how to manage friendships.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I don't think
It's not
just-
anything that is taught, actually.
It's not taught, it's not talked about. I
Yeah.
wish
Yeah.
it's something I would have
Yeah.
been told about in the society, that,
Yeah.
your friends, that's going to be a really key part of your life. And the same way you put effort in nurturing a relationship,
Yes.
you
yes.
should also put towards nurturing friendships.
Yeah. Because I've seen, like, for friendships, especially growing up, and we can talk about friendships in Switzerland and friendships from where we are from.
Yeah.
But friendships growing up, you gravitate to the people who you are in the vicinity of.
Yes,
So if
whoever
it's
is
school-
nearby.
Yeah. So if it's
Yeah.
school, or if it's church, or if it's high school, college, or something. So, and most of these sometimes fall away depending on where you are in life. But I believe there are also some friendships like those that could have lasted longer if we knew how to tend to them.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because I think there's times we just would let things go. It's just,
Yes.
that one.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
But it's looking back and you think about how that,
Yes.
is that person not in my life?
Yes.
It's nothing serious.
Yes.
I just didn't know that
Yeah.
I am meant to put in
Yes.
a certain amount of effort.
Yes.
And, the same way you extend forgiveness or whatever it is.
Can we also talk about something about where you said, like, friendships that like we are taught about how to tend to a boyfriend or a guy or
A romantic partner.
a romantic partner. And in doing so, you're also told the moment you get this person, like what we've been taught is the moment you get this person, you have to drop off all the friends
Yeah.
who are not in the same situation as you. So
Yes.
if you're married, like, that's the thought instilled in us, like, growing up. If you're married, your friends who are not married, actually, you just leave
your
them aside.
downfall.
Are your downfall. You go pick up other friends now who are married, you have to go seek other friends who are married like you. So like now that has made like sort of friendship this thing that's very transactional. It's there, it's not there.
It's not there.
Yes.
But the irony is, dudes keep the same friends
Yes.
since they were kids. They don't get the same rhetoric.
That's weird.
Yeah. Have you had any of your friends being told when they're married to drop their single friends?
I think we've become even closer. No, really. I think, a lot of my married friends are, they, whenever, like, they find me as an escape. Well, not that they are escaping from their I need to find another word for that. They find me as it's like a reminiscent period.
Yes. You're their
And-
grounding. It's like
yeah.
where they come home.
They
Where
know
they come
who they
from.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this is where we reminisce. It's you remember back in the day when we
Yeah.
did this,
Yeah.
and it's nice to sit there and not that they want to live that life again. No, they are just respecting what that period was,
Yes.
and now they're and it's always a reminder that whenever I get a phone call from this person, he's not ringing me to complain. He's just ringing to reminisce.
Yeah.
That's what the
yes,
conversations are about.
Yeah.
They're not about doesn't want to talk about, we'll ask about the kids and the family, yes, and then we'll leave it there and then we'll just reminisce.
Yeah.
That's it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that really fascinating
Yeah.
because we are kind of, there's that drop your single friends.
Yes.
It's such a common rhetoric for women,
Yes.
especially where we're from.
Yes.
But it's not the same
It is not the same for
the
men.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I
which
think-
is
Which again is where like we are not taught about the importance of friendship.
it's probably why we
Yes.
never valued it.
Yes. Because you're like, this is only for a short while. Like
Yeah.
if circumstances change, my friends also
My
change.
friends change.
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to say something.
No, I was also saying that even when my married friend, any issue that he had within his household or within their households, they always come to the single guy's place because they know this is like the base,
Yeah.
So if things are a bit shaky where they are coming from, this might be a regrouping, a reminding place.
Yeah.
Say, we go stay in a Tando's place DJ's place for a few days.
Yeah.
And then we just regroup and then figure out how to move from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's important. Imagine if you've got only, like, seeing as you ladies are saying, you have to keep your friends circle different. If you're now in a marriage relationship, all the married people, I don't want to see another woman in the house
That's true.
with my
Good
man.
point.
What? Don't want to see another woman. You better find somewhere else to make a plan.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, it's interesting that I think now when we talk about heartbreaks, as much as the intensity I was saying for romantic breakups,
Yes.
like I feel hasn't changed.
Yes.
What's interesting is I find that friend heartbreaks,
Yes.
there's a way they hit different and
Yes.
it's a bit more intense
Yes.
than a romantic situation.
Yes.
And I wonder if it's because with friends, you really, like, now I think as older, now when I've learned how to, like, nurture friendships
Yeah.
and things like that, it's also a mourning of how much investment and time you've put in there.
Yes.
And I don't know, maybe, and I wonder if it's one of those things with friendships. You know how when you're dating someone, yes, you hope it's forever.
Yes.
And that's where you try to keep
Yes.
your mental space.
Yes.
But with friendships, in my mind, it's for sure it's forever. I don't
Yes.
see what situation is going to.
Yeah.
So I don't even,
Yeah.
it doesn't even cross my mind.
Yeah. And also you're thinking at it from the perspective of, even if we are not talking, it's because of naturally things have moved.
Yes. It's just
Like,
organic.
it's organic. Things have
It
changed.
could be distance,
Yes.
it could be something.
Yes.
But where it's just, and also I'm curious because I think also for me, friend heartbreaks have not come from the friendship ending.
Yes.
It also comes from certain disappointments
Yes.
that come from, I don't know, maybe it's expectations.
Yes. I was thinking of expectations and
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's I find it interesting, and maybe that's why they had more and longer.
yeah.
Because it's not that, we just stopped speaking. We could still speak. We
Yeah.
could still
Yeah.
be in the same circles,
Yeah.
or we'll see each other, or
Yes.
whatever it is.
Yes.
But it's I don't know how to explain it. There's just it hurts a longer, and I think maybe because
Yeah.
and maybe I need to
Maybe it hurts longer where it is a sudden breakup, like you didn't see it coming, and it feels like a betrayal.
yes,
But where you have like where you can see over time things are changing a little bit. You're not on the same page like you used to. You can sense there's something different with the kind of relationship you have. I think that kind of breakup, when it's a bit slower, it doesn't hurt as much.
it needs to be what do they call it now? There's something called slow ghosting. Slow ghosting.
Slow
It needs to
ghosting,
be
yes,
slowly
yes,
versus
yes.
just ghost.
Yes. Where it's sudden, I think it hurts more, because most of the time when it's sudden, it almost feels like there has to be something that triggered that suddenness, and sometimes it could be betrayal,
Yeah.
or not. Something could have happened in that situation.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah, to pick up on something you said earlier, talking about friendships in having lived outside of the country
Yes.
versus being
Yes.
in Kenya.
Yes.
Do you see a difference in maybe yourself
Yeah.
while if you were living in Kenya?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, what do you see is the difference between
I do feel living here, because I'm living in a country where I don't have family around me. I'm very intentional with my friendships, because they are family to me.
yeah.
Like, I know if something ever happens to me, the people in the vicinity are my friends, and they're the ones I would call my family. So I'm very intentional.
Yeah.
If I was to compare this with Kenya, and back in the days, I felt like friendship, I was also much younger then, like friendship was people in my vicinity, people I went to school with, people I went clubbing with,
Yeah.
and sometimes you'll just see each other on either once, twice a week, or once a month, depending. Like, there was no intention to it. When circumstances allowed,
Yeah.
you actually,
Yeah.
actually came together. So there's more intention to friendships now where I am. And also that's why, because you're investing a lot of time into these friendships, you can tell when things are not going the right way, or the heartbreak itself, or if there's ghosting even.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I fully agree with you, and I also wonder if it's just an age thing. So I wonder if I was living in Kenya full time at this age, if I'd still, I assume I would be as intentional as I am here. I probably would still be as intentional
Yeah.
back home.
Yeah.
But I think I would still have I would have more people who I just put up with. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Versus
yes,
here, I just don't put up with people.
Yes.
If we don't vibe,
Yes.
I don't have the energy
Yes.
to put in the effort.
Yes.
Versus back home, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in Kenya, we are very social,
True.
So you go to places, you'll always bump into people. So you have a larger friend group per se,
yeah.
but you also have to keep like a very certain intimate circle of friends, probably 2 or 3. But you might find yourself having a big group of friends compared to here, where your small circle is your small circle. There's no larger circle.
That's true. That's a luxury.
Actually, yeah.
What would you what are the things you'd say you've learned about friendship? Either about building a friendship or being a good friend.
Yeah.
Good is subjective, but what you consider to be a good friend.
Yeah.
And if there's heartbreaks that have happened in friendships, how you could have done those different.
Yeah. If I was to think about, first of all, heartbreak, to answer the heartbreak part, like, there's one that sticks out to me when I was living and working in Kenya more than 10 years ago, where I worked with this person and we became friends. And then there was sort of a situation that sort of felt like betrayal. And it was so sudden, it was unexpected, so sudden, where our lives were intertwined because their friends were my friends. So now I was in a situation where we are in same circle, but we're not talking. So it felt it felt very awkward. So that's one thing about a heartbreak, because when you're not only just friends with one person. Most of the time,
That's a good point.
your circle
Has a much larger repercussions.
yes.
That's a good point.
So when when you're having a heartbreak, okay, let's say lovers, yeah, it's easier to break off unless you're married, where you have a lot of intertwined, or you have a larger group of friends from far off. Sometimes it's easy to cut off lovers, have a heartbreak, cut it off. Everybody goes their own way. But for
And the distance helps you heal.
Yes.
So there's the fact that it's just fully
Yes.
cut.
Yes.
It helps heal.
Yeah.
But then this one where it's so convoluted.
Yes, there's so many intertwined people in friendship. So a heartbreak within a friend affects a friend group most of the time.
Yeah. So
I would say how I would have dealt with this differently, especially that happened in Kenya. What made it worse is that we worked together. So this is a person you saw every day and it hurt every day. And I think we continued working for like 2 years or so. And it was nil by mouth, no talking.
Yeah.
Like only essential stuff, that's it. I don't know, like there's nothing that, because it felt more betrayal than anything. I couldn't have taken it differently. But coming back to friendships here, because back then I was just living by whatever the life throws at me, whatever. I could have picked a few of red flags here and there, but I didn't do that. And it wasn't intentional with that friendship. It was whatever came around, that's what we were doing, mostly partying, going out.
Yeah.
But now, because I feel in the older I've gotten, the more intentional I am, and the more I'm able to have conversations that are actually making me uncomfortable, even within friendships.
Yes.
So you're catching yourself at the very beginning of something that doesn't sit to you.
You called something out earlier.
You called something out earlier, and that's the part of growth and growing, and also being intentional with friendships.
Yeah, no, I agree. Even the point you were saying about how intertwined things are. Yeah, I can think of, there's many situations. I think it's easy to say, I could have just jumped ship early, right?
Yeah.
But then because there was a larger friend group,
yes,
you find yourself putting up with so much more bullshit versus you shouldn't have, right?
Yeah.
But also it's because you're thinking, if I say this, I don't want to cause drama. Then that's a larger friend group drama.
Yes.
And then so and so is talking to so and so, and
yes.
So you're just like, let me just, let me just keep back. But then you're the one who's building up the resentment. So I think for sure calling out things earlier would have been easier. Or I think I've had situations where, and I think it's definitely also Kenya, where it's you end up being friends with someone because you're part of the friend group. So you're good friends with somebody who's good friends with someone.
Yes.
Right? And because you end up spending a lot of time together, you, again, by default of time together, you end up this person being, quote unquote, a good friend.
Yes.
Versus, again, calling things out earlier.
Yes.
I could have just much earlier known, I don't think maybe me and this person vibe really well.
Yeah.
Or I find myself compromising so much to accommodate somebody else. Right? Yes. And I think now I'm much more aware that, if I feel that I am compromising myself too much to accommodate someone else, I already know, okay, that's not.
Yeah.
And we can be acquaintances. We don't have to be best friends. We don't have to be good friends. It's fine.
Yes.
Right? So I think that's one thing I would have. I'm hopefully trying to learn more.
Yeah.
But I would tell anyone who's young to learn how to
Yeah.
how to nurture friendships.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that stick with you. And life and adulting comes with its things,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of things you find that these are the people who walk you through some really difficult things in life,
Yeah.
and also walk you through some really good things in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're there to celebrate for you.
Yeah.
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 Actually, our friend group, I have to say, it's called Celebration and Things.
Yeah.
Because we celebrate everything.
Yes.
You wake up
However
and
small you think it
however
is.
it is, however small it is,
Yeah.
everything is a win, and we
Yeah.
celebrate each other.
Yeah. I'd have to say, moving here has definitely, leaving the country maybe fast-tracked
Yes.
a process where I learned to be more discerning and understanding, oh, hey, this thing here called
Yeah.
friendship is
Yeah.
not, you don't just show up when you show up and
Yeah.
then all
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
It's like somewhere along the line I realized, oh, damn, that's something I actually have to work hard at.
Yes.
And as uncomfortable as it is, if you're having issues in your relationship and having to talk about having difficult conversations in your relationship,
Yes.
romantic,
Yes.
it's also really hard.
And we should be having those difficult conversations in friendship.
Yes, we should.
Actually, that's one
it's
big
so
lesson.
uncomfortable. Even
Yes.
thinking about it now,
Yes.
about start searching. It's
Yes.
so, even in my big age, it's
Yes.
still something
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's a muscle you have to exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I was going to ask Tando, how do you feel? Have you had any heartbreak in friendships?
In friendships.
Yeah.
No. We've got to, like, when you say heartbreak, for guys, it represents something different. And
What would be the equivalent word? Like, what's a word that guys would use? We use heartbreak.
what would heartbreak a friend?
A falling off.
A falling off.
Yes,
Or
yeah,
just
falling
a
off.
strong
Yeah.
betrayal or disappointment.
That
That
one.
changes the trajectory of your friendship. Where your friendship is not going to be the same again. You might still be
Yeah.
friends, but it changes the way you operate.
I think with all friends, I compartmentalize every single friend. There's one friend that I know that I can't trust him. And then there's other friend that I know that, but I'll have a good time with the one I can't trust. No, it's true. I think there's no. I expect him to disappoint me.
That's a really good
You
point
know?
about how we as women, usually our friendship, we expect everything of our friends to be exactly the same. But we are different
true.
individuals,
Yeah.
as you say.
Different for
Yes.
I'm good for some things. I'm
Yeah.
not good for some
Yes.
other things.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with having a friend who's good for this, who's
Yeah.
good for that, and
I've got-
all of you fit in the same.
I've got a
Yeah.
friend
Yeah.
that anytime he rings me, I've got friends that I know. Anytime this guy rings me, he's looking for money. And anytime this other guy rings me, there's
Yeah.
a problem somewhere that needs to be fixed. And I put them, I have energies for every single one of them.
Yeah.
So I don't go expecting, I expect disappointment from all of them, to be
Yeah.
fair. But there are levels of disappointment that I don't expect from really, really close friends.
Yeah.
Have
So
you
I've
ever
never-
had a falling out with a friend?
No, not something that I'd say I'll never speak to you again, or no, not that I can recall anyway. Yeah.
And this fascinates me. Is there anything that would make you, with a friend of yours, be like, I'm never speaking to you again, or like, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. This is it. Is there anything anyone can do outside of like killing your family or something? Outside of anything.
Nah, I can't think of anything.
That's
What are we
fascinating.
talking about?
You can't,
I can't
think
think
of
of-
anything that
Betrayal.
Betrayal.
They spend took your girlfriend or your wife. or
That happened loads of times with my friends. Yeah, and these
that
guys,
really-
it's not even
it's not a thing. It's
Yeah.
like, it's okay.
Okay.
now I
She
know.
was for the streets.
Yeah. Like it's not even, that happened. Loads of my friends. A lot of them.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And then you're like, you really liked the girl, but it ends up that, she seems to have a free spirit. But which is fine. He saved me in a way. Because
So now that's his free spirit to
Yes,
deal with.
he's free. No, he's not even thinking of it in that way. Yeah, this is,
It was like
yeah,
the
but
strong man.
yeah,
one
that was
day.
when I was young. And it's like with guys, it's not that much of I can't think of anything.
Okay.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
But where does that come from? Is it what we are consuming? Is it because a lot of movies, a lot of what we see media-wise,
Yeah.
a big betrayal for women is, if
He sleeps with my man.
if
Yeah.
and to be fair, and maybe this is again, I think I've said before, I only have brothers, and I think even you as my friends,
Yeah.
I've always said, an ex of mine is free for all. I don't have rules for you can't date my ex. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Even if it ends today, and I'm still trying to save that relationship, but he wants to be with you,
Yeah.
I guess I believe that you can't own a human being.
Yes.
You can't
that's true.
own people's
Yeah.
behavior.
Yeah.
So to me, that's not, I've had situations where a friend has hooked up with somebody I was hooking up with.
Oh,
And so I was like, I stopped hooking up with him. I was like, well, all right,
fair game.
okay. I'm like, I can't, what am I going to do? Tie him to, I was like, well, all right,
Yeah.
cool. But it didn't,
But it didn't break your friendship with.
no, what
yeah.
annoyed me is she didn't tell me
Okay.
she was interested in him.
Yeah.
What annoyed me was she kept telling me how he's an asshole.
Okay.
So she was trying to discourage me
Okay.
from him.
Yes.
That's what pissed me off. But we still remain friends.
Okay.
It wasn't
Yeah.
because I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, if he's going to do that, he's going to. It's not. I'll be annoyed at you short term, but it wasn't a friendship
Yeah.
breaker thing.
Yeah.
But interestingly, what I noticed in movies, in a big theme for a lot of movies when it comes to betray. If there's any betrayal for women in the show or
Yeah.
in the plot,
Yeah.
a good chunk of it is tied to
Yeah. The man or
yes. Versus for dudes, I guess it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair
It's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
So I wonder where that comes from. For
Maybe our nurturing. I don't know.
yeah.
But good conversation to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point, yeah.
Hopefully we'll have some of our friends come on the podcast and
Yes.
also talk about
Yeah.
maybe we're the shitty friends.
Imagine.
Maybe I'm the shitty friend.
Yes.
Although I do let me say something. I do sometimes I'm someone who's really in my head. So if let's say I move to Australia tomorrow and I'm used to we talk maybe once a week,
Yeah.
twice a week.
Yeah.
But then maybe we go 6 months we haven't spoken.
Yeah.
It's life, right? It's okay. When we
Yeah.
catch up, we'll catch up.
Yeah.
But to me, sometimes that gets to my head.
Yes.
And I start thinking, oh man, I'm sure she thinks I'm really shit. It's been 6 months. Man, I'm really shit. I should have reached her. I
Yes,
should
yes.
have blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And then now when that rhetoric gets in my head, normally I should just send a text and be like, hey, I know it's been 6 months, but I hope you're well. But now my head will tell me, now it's already 6 months.
It's
Now
gone
why?
too
What are you
far.
texting?
Yeah.
It's too far to save it.
Yeah.
So then now it goes longer and longer. And then when they hit me up, I'm like, oh, we are okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
But there's a lot of things that I overthink.
Yeah.
That's something I'm trying to be better with.
Yeah.
So even with friends who I know I haven't reached out to in a while, when they cross my mind, I'll just reach out and just be like, hey, sorry, I know it's been a while.
Yeah.
Or I'll just say, hey, I hope you're okay. How are you doing?
Yes. Yes.
I just try to just
Yeah.
put feelers out there and just
Yeah.
make sure. But I wonder if that's something you experience, given that you live away from your home countries.
Yeah. I've maintained very few friends in Kenya. Actually, I was just asking myself this the other day, and when I was back home in December, and I think it's because also from what I've learned about life is that when you created that friends group or your friends came together, you had a shared experience. So either you were in school or you were going through college. And then when that changes, if there was nothing else holding you down, then that friendship kind of organically
Also,
dies down.
Yeah.
So most of the friends that I had in Kenya were those like I had met in school and all that. There's some that I've kept in touch with. But it's usually, those are the ones one or two that know, like, even if it's 6 months and I send like a meme or something and they laugh about it. Like, we're still connected, yes, but and when I go home, I always make the effort to make sure like we hang out, go for,
Yeah.
But But my long-term friendships have sort of fallen off because of distance.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the takeaway from this is check on your friends.
Check on your friends. Don't
Reach
overthink
out.
it.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah, reach out.
Work on nurturing friendships. Like, that's, again, just the same way you put in effort.
Yes.
In love.
Yeah.
In romantic love.
Yeah.
Put in effort also
Yeah.
with your friends.
Yeah.
Because those are people who are just, man.
And to top it all, have those difficult conversations with friends.
Have those difficult conversations.
Otherwise, it would lead to heartbreaks.
Yeah, or things will pile up and then
Yes.
the blowout will be very hard to recover from.
Yes.
So you might as well have the uncomfortable conversation now.
Yeah.
Because then that maybe saves.
Yeah.
It saves your relationship, to be honest. Yeah.
How are we doing? We're good. Good. So till next time.
Till next time.
Let us know what you think of our episode,
Yes.
and if there's anything you'd like us to discuss further on friendship.
Yes, and if you're living in diaspora, or you live far from like where you grew up or where where your upbringing was, like how do you? Are there tips of how you nurture your relationship, or maybe maybe you just send Instagram reels? That's also
and keep a relationship going.
I mean, I'm always learning. Even at this big age, I'm always learning. So please help us.
Cool.
Thank you.
Bye.